And well, that was that at the Big G. No rain, and the match went on, and England lifted their second T20 World Cup title after 2010 and became the first team to be the undisputed white ball champions of cricket. I'm Rahul Pandey, and welcome to this post-match chat. Alongside me, joining all the way from Melbourne, is Devendra Pandey, who witnessed what as it happened in the final. And Devendra bhai, another easy, we won't say it was as comprehensive a win as it was in the semi-final for England, but they didn't seem to be in much of a trouble for much of the game.
Yeah, but एक समय के लिए रवि शास्त्री से ना थोड़ा सा आ गया था क्योंकि if you look at the Ben Stokes क्योंकि अगर शाहीन injured नहीं होता, probably things could have been different because Ben Stokes the way he was batting actually like most of the Indian players उसका भी connect नहीं हो रहा था. So somewhere he wasn't in that same flow, but probably he sticked around. He said, okay, let me hang around, let me take let me play out and let me take till the wire. So he tried that, and luckily Shaheen got injured, and there the England got benefited. But credit to Stokes, the way he played out, the way he batted. Once again, he proved why he's MVP player basically, and probably not the greatest, but in recent time he is the greatest because of the innings he has played today to bail out England and clinch their World Cup title.
Of course, his first T20 half century and time to bring it in the World Cup final. And ek baar ke liye just let's do the formalities. England won the toss, opted to field first. Pakistan could only post 137, and then England finished it with quite some time left. But I think जब इंग्लैंड के स्क्वाड को देखते हैं, एक चीज जो जहन में आती है सबसे पहले, that is there are quite a few players who have had their redemptions in this tournament. Ben Stokes may be one, given the story arc that was in the 2016 T20 World Cup final. Sam Curran comes to mind, जो कि last T20 World Cup नहीं खेल पाए थे because he got injured during that IPL season. And उसके बाद उनका जो कमबैक हुआ इस टूर्नामेंट में, प्लेयर ऑफ द मैच इन द फाइनल, प्लेयर ऑफ द टूर्नामेंट, एंड देयर आर लॉट ऑफ सच प्लेयर्स इन दिस टीम. आप इंग्लैंड के जो मेन ओपनर थे लीडिंग अप टू दिस टूर्नामेंट, जेसन रॉय, ही गॉट इंजर्ड, दैट्स व्हाई एलेक्स हेल्स केम इनटू द कंसिडरेशन. और उसके बाद उनका भी जो कमबैक रहा है, post scored 80 odd runs in the semi-final. So quite a few redemption players in this team, aren't they?
Yeah, and I look at the other way around. Sam Curran is just a small pocket dynamite. If you look at the way he has performed, this England has been really revelation. And you're talking about Alex Hale. Besto was injured basically, and Alex Hales came in the last moment. So it was actually a very silent team, and which did their job. They didn't do any halla hulla types. And all the focus were on India and big Asian teams that they will do well. But England slowly from the sideways went and clinched the title. Even happy for Jos Buttler because he other day he played a golf and then scored 80 odd runs. So he was hitting a perfect hole other day against India. Today he was unlucky, couldn't score much. But credit to England the way they played this tournament. Of course, they lost to Ireland. Not to forget this, it was a big loss for them. All these coming ahead, there was some slight of not hesitation could be the right word, but there's a doubt that whether they will go and win the title because still the team was finding tough to to group themselves, but they managed it. And one name which I feel really did the wonder is Adil Rashid, because if you look at India game and this game, he performed exceptionally well. He managed to control Virat Kohli. Today he got Babar Azam. So two important wickets he got, and actually that turned around things for England this season.
Absolutely. और ground dimensions भी इस मैच में were a little tougher to clear. Side square boundary जो थी वो उतनी आसान नहीं थी clear करनी. थोड़ी uniformity है as far as boundary dimensions are concerned at the MCG. Lekin, I think another thing that we need to talk about, and when it comes to this England team, is the fact that they are the first undisputed champions in the white ball game in this game's history. Since 2007 T20 World Cup जब से शुरू हुआ है, no team has held the T20 World Cup title as well as the ODI trophy at the same time. And it's actually fitting कि वो ऑस्ट्रेलिया में इस T20 वर्ल्ड कप टाइटल को जीत के उस पोजीशन पहुंचे, बिकॉज इट वाज इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया इन द 2015 वर्ल्ड कप, जहां पे उस बांग्लादेश एग्जिट के बाद में देयर वर थिंग्स दैट टुक प्लेस विद इन द इंग्लैंड क्रिकेट इकोसिस्टम, और उसके बाद उन्होंने चेंज की अपनी आइडियोलॉजी टुवर्ड्स द व्हाइट बॉल गेम। राइट नाउ आई थिंक द वे दे आर प्लेइंग, that seems to be the way ahead for every other team, right?
Yeah, correct. And I think going ahead, what Jos Butler said the other day, that आगे दो फॉर्मेट होंगे, दो कोचेस भी होंगे, दो टीम्स खेलेंगे simultaneously. If you look at England team, they started first to have various team and two coaches, and because so much of traveling are going around, so much of tight calendar going around, it's very tough for players to manage each and every format. So horses for coaches will come in future going ahead, and probably taking a cue from England, we won't be surprised in India also in future going ahead. We'll see two teams. Anyway, we have two teams now. If you look at it, we have experimented in England, where we played in Ireland and other team was playing in England. So probably going ahead, more teams will pick up this trend, and we'll see such kind of stuff ahead too.
Let's talk about Pakistan as well, because they also had a bit of a surprise run into the finals. But I think एक point जो लिया जा सकता है positive from this game, that even with a total as small as 138 on the board, they looked really challenging until वो शाहीन शाह अफरीदी का catch जो था, उसके बाद वो injured हुए, and that changed the things for them.
Correct. Yeah, that changed. And if you look at the whole Pakistan story, this World Cup is, their bowlers have always delivered. It's the batsmen which have actually disappointed them. Luckily, in the semi-final, their openers clicked, Babar Azam and this one. Otherwise, if you look at even today, they got a start. They got a slow start on the pitch, which had a bounce, and they couldn't able to manage the whole the situation. Wicket गिरते गए बीच में. It was tough for them to recover. अब आप एंड में आपके अगर विकेट इतने टाइम पे गिरते रहेंगे, तो टीम के लिए भी मुश्किल हो पड़ जाता है कि एंड में, और स्पेशली जब मेलबर्न जैसे आप ग्राउंड पे खेल रहे हो, जहाँ एक तरफ ग्राउंड बहुत बड़े हैं, आप लंबे छक्के नहीं लगा पाओगे, आपको नीचे एक दो करके खेलना चाहिए. वैसे प्लेयर्स उनके पास अभी नहीं है. वो एक साइड पॉइंट रहा. उनका बॉलिंग हैज बीन द यूएसपी since last many years now. Batting which has been disappointed them. But the takeaway, you're right. Now, अगर Shaheen Shah Afridi injured होते, probably we could have seen a different scenario. One wicket here and there. Of course, England had a depth batting lineup. They had Moeen Ali, they have Livingstone to come, but still, the pressure was mounting slowly on. But even I was discussing with someone else, one of my friends, and these days, the team doesn't look at score like 30. If 30 is needed of some 15 balls, it might have just 2 hits. So you get 2 big runs, the score automatically and the run rate automatically come down. So that's the way how players look now. So any total is chaseable, depending if you have wickets in hand.
Definitely, definitely, and I think right now, एक सवाल जो दिमाग में आता है, we've spoken so much about T20 World Cup over the last few weeks. What have been your takeaways from this tournament?
Yeah.
You've been covering it from the very beginning. क्या major takeaways रहे हैं as far as the game is concerned? क्या changes हुए हैं as far as the teams are concerned?
Okay, well, I'm very happy with the way Minnows have handled this tournament. Teams like Zimbabwe, Netherlands, Ireland. Because if you look at the whole international setup, only 4 or 5 teams play cricket. But with these wins coming up, like Netherlands beating South Africa, Zimbabwe beating Pakistan, every World Cup we have seen such kind of setbacks or upset. But probably going ahead, these smaller teams will pick up. I know on a hindsight, I might be wrong, but somewhere they have given hope that if they get a right encouragement from the ICC, they get the right amount of monetary benefits, they will do well. It's just a matter of time. So it will be also challenge for ICC how they will look going ahead. But for me, these smaller teams actually set the tone of the entire World Cup. Look at the Netherlands. They defeated South Africa and Pakistan made it. Otherwise, Pakistan was nowhere in the picture. They were supposed to take flight back to Karachi और वहाँ पे वो चाय पीते होते अब तक. लेकिन but blessing in disguise, Netherlands defeated South Africa and Pakistan sailed through the finals. They defeated New Zealand, which even we have spoken about it, that somewhere down the line there was a psychological thing that Pakistan always beat New Zealand in big games, so which happened in Sydney other day. So for me, these smaller teams are actually made this World Cup more interesting. Of
True,
course, India तो
absolutely.
अपना रहेगा ही क्योंकि इंडिया इंडिया तो रहेगा ही क्योंकि इंडिया विल बी ऑन सेंटर ऑफ दिस अट्रैक्शन. वी विल हैव अ डिस्कशन ऑन इट कि आगे क्या हो सकता है, probably in next chat for our viewers. But let this World Cup end with on these smaller teams. I believe, like if you look at Sikandar Raza, nobody, of course, everybody treated him as just a player from Zimbabwe. But probably after this World Cup, everybody is taking Sikandar Raza seriously.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it started off with, of course, that day one result, जहाँ पे Namibia beat Sri Lanka. And so it has
Yeah.
ended with England's win in the final. And I think to wrap up, मेरे दिमाग में एक old Gary Lineker quote आता है, of course, the famous former England footballer. उन्होंने 90s में जर्मनी के फुटबॉल टीम के बारे में ये कहा था कि football is a very simple game. 20 odd men kick the ball around for 90 minutes, and in the end, Germany always wins. I think the way England is playing cricket right now, white ball cricket, ऐसा लग रहा है कि वो white ball cricket में इस कोर्ट के हकदार बन सकते हैं going forward. But let's see what happens.
Correct,
Another World Cup in a year's time, and Devendra Bhai, I'm sure we will be talking a lot more sport in the time period leading up to that World Cup. Thank you so much for joining us as always, and thank you so much to all our viewers or listeners if you have been listening to our podcast as well.
I think the pressure will be on England football team now, because after England cricket team won the World Cup, of course the Goras will be behind them. Boss करके दो हमको अभी football World Cup भी चाहिए types.
True, true. And that World Cup is also going to have a lot of coverage that will happen at the Indian Express space. So yeah, stay tuned to all our social media platforms as well as our website. Thank you so much for listening.